Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is TBR Schmidt and this is my wife Samantha.
Hey.
And today we are watching episode 9 of Band of Brothers. Last episode we kind of left off with a lot of the soldiers seemingly feeling like the war is almost over and not really wanting to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we're setting up to basically be heading into Germany.
Yeah, so they're kind of moving into Germany. Knowing you're so close to the end, it has to be very stressful that every single thing that you do, you're probably so careful.
Right.
Like I said in previous episodes, I've seen Band of Brothers before, even though my memory is pretty poor, but you've never seen anything.
No. Yeah, I'm honestly really nervous. It's kind of been a roller coaster, the first 8 episodes, but these final 2 episodes, we're heading into Germany. I feel like with it being so close to the end, there's gonna be some stuff going wrong. There's gonna be some deaths. I feel like I'm not emotionally prepared. So we'll see how this goes.
We'll see how it goes, but we're gonna dive into it. If you would like to see the full-length reaction to this, as well as anything else that we have reacted to, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And with that, let's get into episode 9 of Band of Brothers.
Cases the only good crowd is a dead one. Most of them were kids. We all were kids.
Of course, they were doing what they were supposed to do, and I was trying to do what I was supposed to do. Under different circumstances, we might have been good friends.
Interesting to hear them talk about what could have been if they weren't just simply following orders.
Mm-hmm.
It's always so hard to grasp the concept that war is fought literally in people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a battlefield.
I really like that, having the musicians just playing in the center of all of this devastation.
Right. The people who were playing as the Titanic was sinking.
Exactly. Trying to salvage anything.
Beethoven.
Sorry, sir.
That's not Mozart. That's Beethoven.
This thing bites me, Frank. I swear I'll shoot it.
Eliza, why don't you leave her alone?
Frank, why don't you just leave me alone, okay? Hey, Frank. Hold on.
I feel like he got slapped.
No dice with the Fräulein?
No dice. She smacked me in the mouth. Where's my stuff?
Who is that? That's a young who?
It's a young Tom Hardy.
Oh!
A young naked Tom Hardy.
You got a box all this stuff will fit into? Yes, sir, I think so.
Boy, your folks are sure gonna have quite a collection by the time you get...
Finders keepers.
Whoa, he can smile?
Even when he smiles, it's scary.
Yeah. What is going on?
I don't know, he's going a little hard on the alcohol.
3 combat stars over his jump wings.
Not bad for someone who's never fired his weapon in combat, huh? Took a direct hit over the drop zone. I got out, 2 others got out.
The rest of the boys?
Well, they blew up over Germany somewhere. Boom. Oh, well, it wasn't me.
Hear what I said, Nix? You've been demoted.
Yeah, demoted, got you.
Our sons died as heroes.
You really still believe that?
Yeah, I do. Don't you?
Nixon's not really taking the war very well, because he just keeps seeing more and more people die.
Right.
Oklahoma's still playing on Broadway.
In the rain!
O'Keefe, you sitting on your bayonet there?
Wartime news. Resistance in the Ruhr pocket's crumbling. It looks like there might be a breakout in Remagen.
Don't think. Damn replacements. Tell me nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
Such a different scenario than what Easy Company's been used to this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, O'Brien, relax, would you? I'm trying to read. It's O'Keefe. Shut up. I told you, it's O'Keefe. Where the crowd's at? Let me at him. When do I get to jump into Berlin? Do you understand that this is the best part of fucking what I've seen? So quit asking about when you're gonna see some action, will you?
Yeah. He had a dose of reality.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years since I seen home.
Oh my god.
I'm having some trouble finding some whiskey.
Whiskey?
Yeah,
That's 69.
exactly right. 300,000 Krauts just surrendered.
300.
Massive amount of surrenders.
Katz is divorcing me.
I'm sorry.
She's taking everything. It's my dog! She's taking my dog!
spiraling.
Be a nice Jewish girl. Great big soft titties. The smile to die for.
They're at the point where everyone's now fantasizing what they're gonna do when they get home.
Yeah, it's so close.
Why are we fighting the war, Janovic? It seems that the Germans are bad.
The Germans
Are bad?
harbored that and you ain't even finished?
For one thing, I haven't told you anything.
All right, well, breathe a little. Jesus. I love to read.
Do you?
Yeah. Big Tracy, Flash Gordon mostly.
You've got 4 minutes!
Kicking everyone out.
Yeah. I guess that's part of war that I've never thought about is like, where do they stay?
Right, they needed to sleep somewhere. Oh, wow.
Say hello to Ford and General fucking Motors! You ignorant, servile scum! What the fuck are we doing here?
Nixon's gonna lose it. This kid is not prepared.
No. Well, I wonder what the war is almost marketed as back home for them to
Right,
sign,
when they were
you know?
telling them in front of the cameras, like, be happy and cheery and the brotherhood and
Right, so they're
all of that.
it's just this fantasy of going over and killing some Germans. And then they see someone get a bullet to the brain.
Easy Company's gonna take the northwest. Lieutenant Lipton? Sir. Have 1st and 2nd platoon swing up to the woods, have 3rd swing around.
Can hear your heart pounding in Arkansas, boy.
Jesus Christ, give the kid a break, Bull.
Kind of reminds you of Bastogne.
And the trees aren't fucking exploding from crowd artillery, but yeah, other than that, it's a lot like Bastogne.
Right?
Still on the hunt
Yeah,
for his
so
whiskey.
seems like it.
Uh-oh.
Sure is quiet.
Is that smoke or was that a waterfall?
We found something. Oh, we're on a patrol. And, I don't know, sir. I don't know.
Oh, wow. They'd never encountered.
No.
Open it up. Sir.
I can't imagine what seeing this for the first time.
Which looks so frail.
They don't even know what's going on.
Leave God! Lipton, find me Leave God.
Yes, sir.
People need care. Give them water and any spare rations you might have. Grab me some blankets.
Dick?
Molim vas, pomozite. Još je živ. Još ga možete spasiti. That's okay. Hey, boy.
They didn't have enough ammo for all the prisoners, so they killed as many as they could.
Ask him what kind of camp this is.
Unwanted, disliked, maybe.
Bauern.
Dancers, musicians,
Schreiber, Schneider,
tailors,
Intellektuelle.
clerks.
Juden. Juden.
Jews. Polish and gypsies. The women's camp is at the next railroad stop.
Hey, babe, come here. Look at their arms.
Like cattle.
There's nothing, like no part of war that would prepare them for this.
Keith?
Shut up, you Nazi fuck!
Ich bin kein Nazi. Ich habe dich
human being. Are you one of those? Or are you gonna tell me that you never smelled the fucking stench?
Bullshit.
It's hard to not know when half your neighbors are taken away. You can't overfeed or overdrink. You know, you can die from that.
Yeah, they're all almost at the point of death.
Right.
We need to stop giving these men food right now. We give them too much to eat too quickly, they'll eat themselves to death. We need to keep them centralized so we can supervise their food intake and medical treatment.
It makes sense, but how can you come and be essentially rescuing these people and then leave them behind?
And then put them right back in and then take away food and water when that's all they want, but it's for their benefit.
Got to, Joe.
If you're in their shoes, you just want to get the hell out of there. Just give me food, water, and let me leave.
Es ist nur für eine kurze Zeit.
And camps like this all over the place. 10 times as big. Execution chambers, ovens.
The locals claim that they never even knew the camp existed. They say we're exaggerating.
Ordered every able-bodied German in town aged 14 to 80 to start burying the bodies. That'll begin in the morning.
Well, if they didn't believe it, sure as hell will now.
Hitler's dead. Shot himself in Berlin.
Should have killed himself 3 years ago.
Yeah, he should have. But he didn't.
$11 million in total, 6 million Jews in 3 years. All right, that was episode 9 of Band of Brothers, and I knew this episode was coming. You obviously didn't, but it's a very rough one.
Yeah, that was extremely hard to watch. I think throughout the entire series, you know, obviously we understand history.
Right.
We know what happened, but I didn't even put it together that they would be encountering a camp.
A lot of soldiers are like, why are we fighting? And then you find this and you're like, that's why we're fighting. So it's a very powerful episode. It's just very, very well done, but it's definitely very difficult to watch just because of the reality of it is this is one of the most horrific events of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly, I just hadn't put 2 and 2 together that, like you said, that was something that they weren't aware was happening.
And I don't know, maybe, I mean, I'm not, neither of us are perfect historians or anything like that, so I'm not quite sure of the specifics of it. I don't know if Americans knew about this and it just wasn't widely circulated through the soldiers, obviously because they're focused on other things.
Right, but I mean, these are the people that are there and in it, and if none of them knew, which from this, they clearly didn't know.
No, it was literally so surprising to all of the soldiers who encountered it. They had no idea if they were just criminals or why they were in there, how many, they probably thought that was the one and only or the worst one, and then to find out that was like a little
so minuscule in terms of the size and the capacity of other concentration camps.
Yeah, and how deadly those camps were.
Right.
So I think it's I kind of said earlier, it's just you're going through so much horror of fighting a war, and then you get to the end where you feel like, okay, wow, I'm thinking about going home and what I'm going to do with my life once this war is over, and then you stumble upon this reality that there's this catastrophic, horrific event that's been going on this whole time that you just weren't aware of. So I think this episode does a very excellent job, and also kind of surprising the viewer too. You kind of see all of the soldiers kind of looking at something, and even you were like, is that smoke? Like you don't get the perspective of what they're looking at, and then the soldier is just running back, and you're like, what happened? Like, did they encounter other soldiers? Is he the only survivor? What's going on? And even the drive up, you know, you're not really shown anything until the last second where it's, oh my God, they're looking at a concentration camp.
Yeah, and I think the idea too throughout the episode of them just like they didn't even know what they were looking at when they got there.
Right.
And I just didn't expect them to not understand like
what they were seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't have a lot of words for the episode, but it's
very impactful.
Yeah,
very. I mean, I don't know how young I was when I first saw this, and there's a scene that I don't think I'll ever forget, and that's Tom Hardy's character when he's like walking up and the prisoner just like grabs him and just hugs him, and Tom Hardy's like character is just like, it's okay, like it's like what do you do in that situation?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I will never forget that little moment of, you know, Tom Hardy hugging that prisoner and the camera's just circling around them and the prisoner is just breaking down crying, obviously from being extremely sad, but also, is this the savior? Did we actually make it out of this alive?
Right.
And Tom Hardy's character just doing everything he can to just hold him and just console him. Like, that's one of the most devastating scenes I've ever seen, and something I'll never forget from a TV show, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, it really is like, it's just them witnessing the most evil thing that we've probably ever had happen.
Or will have. And and that part too, like I know just from history as well, I feel like is maybe where I've learned that like people who are starving, you can't just give them a bunch of food and water. And if you're starving, all you want is food and water. So that's another heartbreaking scene in this episode, is knowing that like, oh my God, like these people, they just want to leave this prison and they just want food and water. They want to try to maybe get to the women's camp and see, you know, did their other family members survive or make it? And for their own safety, you have to limit the food and water that they get and keep them somewhere where you can monitor them, and they have nowhere else to keep them other than that prison.
Yeah.
So when Liebgott has to get them to all go back into the prison, and you see him just completely break down, but you know, from our perspective, we know it's a necessity to keep them alive. From their perspective, they're being sent back into a prison by strangers from a different land.
Right.
So it's just, no matter how you look at this episode, it's just tragic all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
And it closes with, you know, some beautiful Beethoven, right? It opens with some beautiful music, and it ends with some beautiful music, and it ends with closing the violin. You know, so it just kind of caps this just horrific episode in an awkwardly nice, like, exterior layer of some beauty. And so, I mean, I don't know if there's any intention behind that or anything like that, but, you know, hopefully you get a sense that these people are saved, that they're freed, that they're taken care of, that Hitler's dead, and that, you know, maybe the beauty in all of this is that they're moving closer towards the actual end. And now that they've discovered this, you know, they are on the look, I'm sure, for other camps.
Mm-hmm.
Much more aggressively, probably searching for other camps.
Right.
So at least once the word finally got out, hopefully it spread like wildfire, and you know, every single camp was found as quickly as possible. So it's definitely a very powerful episode. I was curious what would happen for us once we finally got here, or how you would handle it, or how you would kind of take this episode.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of words for it.
No.
But I think that it was well written, and I think it did a good job showing how horrific, because there's no, if you weren't there, there's no way to even comprehend what you're seeing, what you're smelling,
what you're just going through.
Yeah, everything. There's just no way to comprehend it. But I think that they did a very good job kind of portraying what the soldiers would be, you know, seeing just with no knowledge.
Right. And I think it is, I mean, I think a lot of maybe viewers of Band of Brothers didn't anticipate this episode. At least in my, and like in your situation, in my situation, because we know the history and it's happened so far in the past, it's not a surprise to us. So I think seeing this episode, it probably surprised quite a few viewers, and it just does a really good job. But yeah, it was a rough episode to watch, at the same time being a great episode to watch. And you know, we only have one episode left.
Yeah, and I do also, it's kind of crazy watching this. Obviously, in school, we learn about the war, we learn of the history, and for the most part, it's all from, you know, U.S. history on our side.
Right, it's from our perspective.
But also, like, the major points in the war have not been major plot points in this series. Like, Hitler dying was almost in passing mentioned.
Right. Yeah, because we follow the perspective of Easy Company.
Right.
So we only see what Easy Company sees.
Right. So it's almost, it's just crazy to think of this is really what it was like for them. You know, they're hearing things in passing. They're getting their news from a little
updates.
letter. Yeah, and things like that. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. And I think they just do such an incredible job taking it just from the perspective of Easy Company. They're not, you know, sensationalizing anything. They're not exaggerating or any of the key points of a general knowledge of the war.
Right, which is what we have, is just a very basic general knowledge given in school, in high school, which is probably like you spend a week on it or something and move on to the next subject.
Right. So I just thought that was really interesting when they had mentioned Hitler's death.
In passing, just so like effortlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I mean, we know World War II in general, and you follow Easy Company, who, you know, experiences a lot of significant events, but, you know, we didn't learn about Bastogne in like history class, or when you hear about D-Day, you hear about the assault on the beach. You don't necessarily hear about, you know, the paratroopers dropping in behind, you know, so it's World War II, but this is just one of millions of perspectives of the war. Really enjoyed every episode and really appreciated every episode, and I think we're really excited to kind of finish it up hopefully strong.
Yeah.
So we know this is probably a pretty rough episode to watch, so we appreciate everyone watching along with us, and until next time, peace everyone.
Bye.
Bye.